Welcome back to Guys Time. Zach Bryce here, and Detroit Tigers fans. We can all breathe for just a split second, though, because we got the Diamondbacks tonight. The start of a 3-game series, 6:40 p.m. Check that one out. But we can breathe for a moment because coming into yesterday's game, we were on a 6-game losing streak and lost 12 out of the last 13 games. Are you kidding me? And supposedly this was supposed to be the best team in baseball before the All-Star game, All-Star game, which they were. So, I mean, July, let's just forget about it. Like I said, we got the Diamondbacks tonight at home. Let's handle our business. Okay, let's get a winning streak going because we damn well need one. I mean, we're in desperate need for wins, right? Because obviously our lead in the AL Central is slowly shrinking. I mean, at one point we were 12 and a half games, ahead in the AL Central. That's shrunk down to 7. The Cleveland Guardians are right behind our ass, and we gotta figure something out. But we'll take the win from yesterday, 10-4 against the Toronto Blue Jays. We had a 4-game series against these guys. They won the first 3, so in order to avoid the 4-game sweep, that would have been embarrassing as hell. We finally got the W, the much deserved W, a much needed win for these Detroit Tigers. So Tigers win yesterday, 10-4. The bats came alive finally, because these past few weeks, like basically a whole month almost, our offense has been trash. I mean, god awful. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I mean the bats cooled off, like even before the All-Star break. That series with the Seattle Mariners, they came into town and they destroyed us. They embarrassed us at Comerica Park. I mean, they're scoring 12 runs on Friday night, the first game of the series. And then Saturday comes, they score 15. And then we got swept by them. I mean, how in the hell do you get swept by the Seattle Mariners? I mean, I get it. They're a decent team. They're not the worst team. They're not the greatest team. But that was and obviously a couple weeks ago, but that was a series where we should have at least won 2 out of 3 against those guys. Or complete the 3-game sweep. So then riding into the All-Star game and the All-Star break, spirits are high, the confidence is high. I mean, we're the best team in baseball, baby. No one's touching the Detroit Tigers. Well, that started it all. I mean, the Seattle Mariners came in and destroyed us, and we didn't recover. Because then after the All-Star break, we're losing 2 out of 3 against the Texas Rangers. We're getting swept by the Pirates, who coming into that game just got swept by the Chicago White Sox. Yeah, one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball this year. The Pirates got swept by them coming into that series against us, right? And then I think they were on a hard stretch like we were. They lost like 12 out of the last 13 or 11 out of the last 12, but they swept us. And then you get Toronto coming in, and they win 3 out of 4. I mean, they almost swept us this weekend. So, Detroit Tigers, what the hell is going on? Scott Harris, Chris Ilitch, I mean, are you guys just sitting on your ass and not doing anything? Go get some pitching now. Get a right-handed bat now. I mean, this is insanity. Like, why are we waiting? The trade deadline is this Thursday, July 31st. Okay, it's July 28th. You got 3 days. 3 days to make a decision. What's going on? I mean, I don't even hear rumors. Like, rumors. We get excited about that. And they're rumors, for God's sake. Nothing coming from Detroit Tigers baseball. No, they're not pursuing a pitcher or right-handed bat who's batting .300 who could help our offense because obviously we need it. And then pitching, I mean, our pitching's god-awful. I mean, except for yesterday, obviously, we finally figured something out. We used our noggin a little bit. Oh, okay, well, maybe we should win this game. Let a fire under our ass and do something. Well, and that's what the Detroit Tigers did. So they win yesterday against the Toronto Blue Jays. Avoid the 4-game sweep because that would have been embarrassing as hell. Tigers win 10-4. They end a 6-game losing streak as a result. And see, those are the stretches that I can live with. If you're on a 6-game losing streak, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. I mean, the confidence is just, it's not there. Like the confidence is taken away from not only the team, but us fans, watching this garbage. Those are the stretches I can live with. But when you lose 12 out of the last 13 games coming into this series, or as of Sunday, there's something wrong there. I mean, that's not a winning formula. Especially before the All-Star break, you were the best team in MLB. You were the best team in Major League Baseball. And then after that, you guys just collapse. And I saw the Mariners series, before the All-Star break, and I was just like, what the hell happened to this team? I mean, we just got done winning 2 out of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, we lost that last game, but it's like, okay, that's fine. We got Seattle coming in. Okay, let's try to sweep these guys or win 2 out of 3 at least. That's why I always say 3-game series or even 4-game series, win most of them. I mean, if you win 3, if you complete the sweep, that's awesome. If you can win 2 out of 3, that's amazing too. But you have Seattle coming in the first game, they scored 12 runs on you guys. And then the second game, they're scoring 15 runs. So 27 runs in 2 days. There's something wrong there. And then our bats just magically turn ice cold. And then our pitching just collapse out of nowhere. So before the All-Star break, you had the Seattle Mariners series. You kind of knew where this team was going. I mean, we didn't expect, losing 12 out of 13 games heading into yesterday's game against the Blue Jays and being on a 6-game losing streak. But, dude, oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible. It was a horrible stretch. Hopefully tonight, we got the Diamondbacks tonight, 6:40 p.m. Check that one out. Hopefully we can beat these guys and start something. I mean, I don't know what the deal was yesterday. We'll get to that in a couple seconds here, but thank God the Detroit Tigers won yesterday. So you had that going on. So yeah, they ended a 6-game losing streak. Lost 12 out of 13 coming into Sunday's game, as I mentioned. Riley Green, been very reliable for most of the season. July, though, not the greatest. I mean, this guy, I don't know. He shaved his beard yesterday. He has the mustache. He looks kind of goofy. He looks weird. Very weird when I saw that. But it didn't really help because he struck out a couple times, and he's not hitting the ball like he used to. So maybe just get rid of facial hair in general, or you got to do something. Because the month of July for Riley Green, not the greatest, my friend. 182 batting average. Compared to his June batting average, so only a month earlier, he was batting 360. So you go from 360 to 182. And in the month of July, he has 37 strikeouts. Bro, you're one of our best players. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I mean, I get it. It's baseball. It's a long season. We said this numerous times. Guys are going to go on slumps. But 37 strikeouts in 1 month, 182 batting average, when you are a key player, a star player on this team, not going to cut it, dude. Unacceptable. Get it figured out. Matt Vierling. Okay, he's been hurt. I mean, beginning of the year, he was hurt for majority of the season. He's coming back into the groove of things. But he's batting 191. July, in the month of July, 15 strikeouts for him. Winfield Perez, 176 batting average in the month of July, 15 strikeouts. Javi Baez, 176 batting average in the month of July, 16 strikeouts. Zach McKinstry, 105 batting average in the month of July. And you understand that, okay, Riley Green, Javier Baez, and Zach McKinstry were all All-Stars just a few weeks ago, and they're not even batting 200 with all those strikeouts. And they didn't do anything in the All-Star game either. They couldn't hit. They couldn't do anything. So, thank God the bats came alive yesterday. But these players, along with the rest of the team, yeah, you need to start picking it up a little bit. I mean, I said this numerous times on the podcast. This is where the Detroit Tigers need to go. Like, they need to go. They need to win games. They need to dominate, go on winning streaks. Pitching's got to be the best. I mean, hitting, our offense has to come alive and get red hot really fast. And that's where the Diamondbacks tonight, I strongly believe we can do that tonight. We need to do that tonight and get something going. Get on the winning streak. Get back on the right track. I mean, you were off the rails. Like, you were up, crash, bam. I mean, it was horrible. It was ugly. With the win yesterday, you're slowly getting back into where we need to be as a franchise. I mean, like I said, dude, this first half of baseball, great. We were the best team in baseball. Awesome. After All-Star game, we definitely took a nosedive and land on our heads, because this is god awful. I mean, I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at all these defeats. I mean, getting split by the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, it's crazy, because coming into that series, they got swept by the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox, one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball this year. They got swept by them coming into the series against the Tigers a few weeks ago. They come to Detroit, or we go to Pittsburgh, and we get swept by the Pirates. How? And then we won coming into that series with Pittsburgh. We won the last game against Texas. So how do we go to Pittsburgh and get swept by the Pirates, whose offense is god-awful? The only thing going for them is Paul Skeens, who's a great, phenomenal pitcher. But they swept us, dude. And they just got done getting swept by the Chicago White Sox. And then they were on a horrible stretch there. They lost 11 out of 12 or 12 out of 13, something like that, coming into our series, and we get swept by them. I mean, we lost 3-0 first game against the Pirates, 8-5 second game, 6-1 the last game of that series. So, crazy, dude. Unbelievable, unacceptable, just god-awful. And then we start the series against the Toronto Blue Jays, first night out, 11-4. We got our asses kicked. And then 6-2, 6-1, and then we finally, our bats came alive, and we won 10-4 yesterday. So, the Tigers, like I said, they got Arizona tonight at home, 6:40 p.m. Troy Melton's on the mound. So hopefully he can get his crap together. And hopefully our bats come alive. Hopefully this is not like a one-time thing, one and done. Like, let's get a winning streak going, because you guys desperately need it. So Sunday's game, yesterday's game, Gleyber Torres, 3-run homer in the third inning. 4 RBIs. So I don't know if that was the deal, or Kerry Carpenter's return. He hasn't played in almost a month. Riley Green's shaved beard. I don't know what the deal was yesterday, but we got the job done. We won. And then Dylan Dingler had 2 RBIs. That's good. But now we got to keep this going. This has to be a consistent thing for the Detroit Tigers moving forward. Like I said, it starts tonight with the Diamondbacks. Jack Flaherty. Up and down year for this guy. Not the greatest, right? 6-10 record. Horrible. But he did really well yesterday. 6 innings pitched. 5 hits. 1 base on ball or 1 walk. 7 strikeouts. 0 runs. That's amazing. I will take that from Jack Flaherty. Obviously, 6-10 record. Not the greatest, but he did his job yesterday like he was supposed to. So you had that. But now, the Detroit Tigers only have an 8-game lead in the AL Central. Before the All-Star break, they had like an 11.5 game, 12-game lead in the AL Central. Now it's been shrunk down to 8. The Cleveland Guardians are right behind them, crawling to take that spot. And Cleveland, the last 10 games, they have a 6-4 record versus the Tigers 2-8, which is horrible, god-awful. So, best team in baseball, the Detroit Tigers were, as I mentioned before the All-Star break. Now they have the 7th best record, because Toronto has the best record with a 63-43 record. So, you have almost 2 months more to play baseball. Your best baseball. It starts tonight. Get something going. I mean, start a winning streak, an unbelievable winning streak. Please. And not too much to ask, right? I mean, you got the trade deadline. This is this Thursday, right? July 31st. I haven't seen or heard anything come from the Detroit Tigers organization. The front office, Scott Harris, Chris Ilitch, What the hell are you guys doing? Why are you just sitting on your ass not doing anything? Make some calls, make some deals, get it done. I don't care how much it costs. This is our opportunity to win the World Series. My opinion. Especially the first half of baseball, you were the best team in baseball. So now all of a sudden, you struggle a little bit. More than I would like to see. Like I said, I'm good with 6-game losing streaks. That's cool. But losing 12 out of 13 coming to yesterday's game, not the greatest. No, I can't accept that. But what are the Tigers doing to get better? You got to get pitching. A couple of relief pitchers would be great. And a right-handed bat would be nice. Help our offense out a little bit. But why would you not get those key players, those key components to make this team better so that we are competing in the postseason? So that we can keep our lead in the AL Central. So that we can climb up and maybe, possibly, become the best team in baseball again. I don't know. It's very strange. But yeah, trade deadline's this Thursday. So, Tigers, get something done. I was looking at social media yesterday because obviously I tend to do that a lot, especially with sports. And I came across Opta Stats, their social media page. And this was they were talking about the Tigers, of course. It's kind of a talking point in Major League Baseball right now. And this is what they put on their social media. Opta Stats. This is where all these stats are coming from. So the Detroit Tigers are the only MLB team in the modern era to have a 13-game span where they were outscored by 50 runs or more, out-hit by 50 runs or more, had fewer than 25 extra base hits, and struck out 125 or more times during that span. And then they came into that stretch with the best record in baseball. So complete 180 for this Detroit Tigers team. Kicking ass, taking names, we're the best. We're dominating the AL Central. We're the best team in baseball. After the All-Star break, yeah, not so much. We're struggling hard. And this is what we got. I mean, it's horrible. Horrible stretch. Like I said, with the win tonight, hopefully that lit a fire under their ass and they can get something done. They can start going on winning streaks now and dominating at the plate. They can dominate pitching. They can close games out instead of giving up leads like they've been doing numerous times during this horrible stretch. Got Diamondbacks tonight, 6:40 p.m., who just dropped 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. What's the deal with the Pirates? Like, are they trying to, make a run for a wild card, perhaps, or are they just trying to ruin people's chances to make it to the playoffs? I don't know what the deal is with the Pirates. It is what it is, but Arizona dropping 2 out of 3 this past weekend, so they're coming in red hot in terms of being upset and angry and wanting a victory. You've got to look out for that. And they have a 51-55 record, the Diamondbacks do, so they're right there in the wild card. They're competing. I mean, like I said, you got a lot of baseball to be played, my friend. So we'll see what happens. Troy Melton gets the start for the Tigers. His last start against the Pirates on July 23rd, he lost 6-1, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 runs, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts. His ERA is 10.80, so almost 11. This is his chance to bounce back. This is his chance to make a name for himself. This is the Detroit Tigers' chance to get something going. A winning streak. Something, dude. Help us. Do something. And then the trade deadline. Scott Harris, Christopher Illich. Do something. I don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'll be very surprised if they do something. But then I want to talk about the Blue Jays series real quick. So Blue Jays outscored us 27-17. Yeah, we need to fix that. And it starts tonight with the Diamondbacks. So Diamondbacks, Tigers, 6:40. Check it out. But yeah, that was a horrible, god-awful stretch by the Tigers. It's unacceptable. And like I said, that Mariners series, something just did not click. Like they didn't recover from that Seattle Mariners series before the All-Star break. Because, you drop 2 out of 3 against Texas. You get swept by the Pirates, who are god-awful. You lost 3 out of 4 against the Toronto Blue Jays. Thank God you won yesterday, 10-4. Great. But now you got to start tonight with the Arizona Diamondbacks coming into town, because then you got to go to the Phillies. And they're making their way back to title contention, perhaps, or playoff contention, I should say. So these next few games, especially this series against Arizona, I'm really going to try to see what they need to do. Like, we all know they need pitching, because their pitching's been god-awful for most of the season, not just during the stretch. I mean, during the stretch, it's obvious. They've been god-awful. But most of the season, not the greatest. I mean, except for Tarik Skubal, because he's the man. He's the best pitcher in MLB. But Tarik Skubal can't do everything. You see what I'm saying? Get some help. Build this team. Why wouldn't you want to help this team out when they have an opportunity to compete in the postseason and possibly go to the World Series? Scott Harris, Chris Ilitch, make some calls, make some deals, make it happen. Arizona Diamondbacks, like I said, this is going to be a very interesting series. What can the Detroit Tigers do? What am I going to see from this Detroit Tigers team after that victory yesterday? That much-needed victory against the Blue Jays yesterday, who have the best record in baseball now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yep, I got game 1 of that series starts tonight, 6:40. Go Tigers! Get something going. That's baseball. And obviously, you can see my jersey. I got Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey on. So we'll talk about the Hall of Fame game here in a little bit. This Thursday, Chargers and Lions, the start of the football season. It's finally back, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I should say. Good times. But we got to talk about boxing real quick, because my dad and I had the opportunity to go to Little Caesars Arena this weekend, Saturday night, and it was Claressa Shields versus Laney Daniels. Claressa Shields won by unanimous decision. She retained the undisputed heavyweight titles in the process. And so congrats to her. I mean, she's amazing, right? But I want to talk about my guy. You guys know him. I've had him on the podcast. Did an interview with him a few months back. I'm going to have to do another interview with him probably within the next couple weeks. But I got to talk about my guy, Kamel Macklin. This guy is amazing. 3-0 in his pro boxing career. He got his victory in his third pro fight this past Saturday. Dominating performance by Kamel. I mean, he landed a big straight right hand on this guy, and he went down like a sack of potatoes. Dude, he got up, and I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, how in the hell does this guy get up after getting clocked in the face like that? I mean, it was a beautiful right hand. I mean, you could hear it all the way in the cheap seats where my dad and I were sitting. That's how loud it was. It was like a gunshot, dude. It was sick. It was brutal. But the guy got up, and he survived 2 more rounds. Hats off to him. And it was against Davario Hauser. That was Kamel's opponent, who got up and survived a couple more rounds, but then he got KO'd in the 3rd round. And with that, Kamel has had a knockout in his first pro fight in the 1st round. He had another knockout in his second pro fight in the 2nd round. And now his 3rd pro fight, what do you think happened? Exactly. Another knockout, but in the 3rd round. 1, 2, 3. That's amazing. I just noticed that. I was going through my pay stubs because I kept track. I kept track of Kamel, what round he won, how did he win. I mean, his first fight, 1st round knockout, 2nd fight, 2nd round knockout, 3rd fight, 3rd round knockout. But this was definitely his best performance yet. So Kamel, congratulations, man. I am so proud of you. Everyone from New Way Training Center right here in Clinton Township, Michigan, we're all proud of you. We love you, man. You have so much support from your family, your friends, your New Way family, like myself. Your girlfriend, Kate, shout out to her. She's a wonderful human being. I've only met her a couple times, but I mean, she's definitely an amazing person. But Kamel, keep doing you, man. That was amazing. My dad was very impressed with your performance. The sky's the limit for you, dude. And you already texted me this morning. You're already getting offers for another fight. So, you know I'm going to be at that fight. I don't care where it's at. I don't care if it's in Little Caesars Arena. I don't care if it's in Chicago. I don't care if it's in the middle of nowhere. I'm there, my friend, because you are amazing. You're a great human being, an excellent fighter, an exciting fighter to watch. I mean, that performance was magical. It really was. But I'm going to have to get him on here as well. We have to get him, do another interview with Kamel Maclid. But another victory for Mr. Maclid. 3-0 on his pro boxing career. Another knockout victory for this young man. Like I said, he's taking over boxing. It's gonna be a beautiful thing once he rises through the ranks. Making a name for himself already. And for him to have his third pro fight in Little Caesars Arena, that's awesome, dude. So congrats to Kamel Maclid. It was a great night of boxing. Me and my dad enjoyed ourselves at Little Caesars Arena. Congrats to Caressa Shields, hometown girl from Flint, Michigan, becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion, women's heavyweight champion. And boxing is great. So you have that going on, but big things coming for Kamel Maclid. Remember that name. He's going to do some good things. So now we end this episode of Guys Time Today. You can see the jersey. Guys, I know it's only the end of July, but I'm already ready for football. I mean, I'm ready for fantasy football. I'm ready for Detroit Lions football. As you can see with my Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey. It starts this Thursday. And we're going to have football every single week until the beginning of February when the Super Bowl happens and stuff like that. So we're going to have all these months, all this time of NFL action, baby. The NFL's back. I'm hyped up. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. We got the Hall of Fame game this Thursday night, 8 o'clock, NBC or the Peacock. Everyone says Peacock. I'm going to say the Peacock because I'm a goof. But 8 p.m., NBC on the Peacock. Preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, the Lions and the Chargers. Very interesting matchup. Very interesting to say the least. Canton, Ohio, obviously that's where the Pro Football Hall of Fame is. So let's talk about these Los Angeles Chargers real quick. 11-6 record last year. I thought they could have done a lot better. It is what it is. Second in the AFC West. They lost in the wild card round again. This time against the Houston Texans, 32-12. This is Jim Harbaugh's second year as the head coach of the Chargers. Obviously, he was a coach for Michigan for many years, won a national championship, won back-to-back Big Ten titles there, and finally beat Ohio State after 5 tries. But it is what it is. But last year was his first season as the head coach, 11-6 record, and went to the playoffs. Very impressive, right? But then Justin Herbert. And, we talked about him a couple times. He's been scrutinized and criticized all over, ESPN, Fox Sports, all the other sports media outlets because his inability to win playoff games. He's 0-2 in the playoffs. Both times he's lost in the wild card round. The first time around was against Jacksonville Jaguars, and then obviously last year against the Texans. 2 AFC South teams, by the way, so crazy enough for that, right? But what does Justin Herbert need to do this year? I mean, okay, it's the Hall of Fame game. He's probably going to play a couple reps, maybe a couple series, and then he's going to sit down, right? But in terms of the regular season, what do we need to see from Justin Herbert? He's got to win a playoff game. Well, first, they got to win enough games to get in the playoffs and stay healthy because he's had injury problems in the past. A lot of people are shutting him down. Dude, I still like Justin Herbert. He's a good player. He's fun to watch. He just cannot win a playoff game. And he's young. He still has time. But with the NFL and how it is, you need to be successful now or you're forever going to be a chump or, a bust or, you're never going to be successful. I mean, that's just how the NFL mindset works, unfortunately. But I like Justin Herbert. Now I'll be the first one to say it. Everyone else, he sucks. He's overrated. He's good. He's good enough for the NFL. I really hope they win enough games, the Chargers do, to make it to the playoffs. He's got to win a playoff game. You can't go 0-3 because he'll get destroyed by the media. But Justin Herbert's got to do something this year. He's got to do something. I mean, you got all that talent behind you. You got a great defense, and we'll talk about that defense. They only allowed 301 points, which was the fewest in the league. I mean, you have a great defense, man. You got to help them out. You got to score points. The Chargers defense can only do so much. I mean, it's led by Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, who's arguably the best safety in the league. You got to do something if you're the Chargers and Justin Herbert. You got to get something done. You got to get it handled. You got the Hall of Fame game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be the introduction. It's going to be the first game of the NFL. Preseason, may I remind you. It's not regular season, obviously. We got over a month before that, which is crazy enough. I mean, like I said, guys, we're going to be talking about football just like that. I mean, yeah, I'm probably talking about the baseball, Detroit Tigers, or UFC, or boxing, or golf even. Yeah, I know we talked about golf a couple times here on Guys Time. But before you know it, we're going to be talking about college football. We're going to be talking about the NFL, fantasy football. It's going to be a good time. But the Hall of Fame game, NFL is back, baby. Thursday night, 8 p.m., NBC and the Peacock. Check it out. It's going to be a good one. That's the Chargers. We got to talk about my Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's the man. Detroit Lions last year. Great year, right? 15-2 record, back-to-back NFC North champions, rather. Fourth season under Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell regime. So now they're entering their fifth year together. And yes, we've tasted playoffs. We were in an NFC Championship game a couple years ago. We don't need to talk about that anymore because it just it gets me triggered. I mean, it takes me to a bad place. We don't need to talk about that. But then, obviously, the disappointing loss at home last year in the playoffs against the Washington Commanders, against a rookie quarterback in Jay and Daniels. Let me throw that out there. But now they're entering the fifth season together, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Lions, they got to do something. I said, I do believe a couple of weeks ago, my prediction for the Detroit Lions in terms of wins and losses, they're going to get 10 wins. That's realistic. Look at that schedule. We're on the road week 3. Monday night against the Baltimore Ravens. We're on the road against Cincinnati. We're on the road against Washington, the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs. That is god-awful. And then you got, obviously, 2 games apiece with the NFC North. 2 against Chicago, 2 against Minnesota, 2 against Green Bay. I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot tougher than people assume. I think the Detroit Lions will be all right. Like I said, 10 wins. I don't think that's very doable, especially with the schedule that they have. But they got to do something, man. I said before, that Super Bowl window, shrinking. And it started a couple years ago in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. So they got to do something. So Detroit Lions season last year, very interesting. Lots of firsts. Lots of records being set by this team. So week 12, their week 12 victory against the Indianapolis Colts, they were the first team to reach 10 wins. That was the first time they accomplished that since 1934. Bluetooth wasn't even invented in 1934. We didn't even have motorized cars in 1934. We didn't have Jack in 1934. You know what I mean? That was the first time they were the first team to get 10 wins. So you had that. Another accomplishment by this team last year. Their first consecutive 10-plus win seasons in franchise history. So all the seasons that the Detroit Lions have been around, they've been around since 1934. When they were the Portsmouth Spartans. Yeah, see, I know my stuff. But all these years, beating 90 plus years of Detroit Lions football. They completed their first consecutive 10 plus win seasons last year. First in franchise history. Crazy. And then, the Thanksgiving game, the Detroit Lions, they always got that Thanksgiving game slot, but they can't win the damn game. But hold on, though. They did win last year against the Chicago Bears because the head coach, Matt Eberflus, doesn't know how to use a timeout when he had one left, or I think two left, because he's an idiot. Well, that's why he's not the head coach there anymore. But anyways, yeah, Ben Johnson is. So that'll be a very interesting matchup going against our former offensive coordinator. But we won our first Thanksgiving game last year. First time since 2016. Guys, I was a sophomore in college, and I was 20 years old. I'm 28 now, about to be 29 in over a month. Also in 2016, Captain America Civil War was the top movie that year. The highest grossing movie worldwide, earning over $1 billion. That was the last time the Detroit Lions won a Thanksgiving game. Obviously, just except for last year. So they were just setting records and getting all these accomplishments last year. It was fun. But now here's the crappy part about the Detroit Lions season last year. Injuries. We all know. Injuries killed this team. Absolutely annihilated this team. I mean, you had Aiden Hutchinson breaking his leg against the Cowboys week 6. You had Aleem McNeil, who we might not even see him till like November. He's still suffering from that torn ACL. Malcolm Rodriguez got hurt. Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson. I mean, these are star players on our offense, or defense rather. Alex Anzalone, he broke his forearm. He was out. I mean, so many guys on IR. Injuries killed this team. So, number one, this team has to stay healthy for 17 weeks. Yeah, easier said than done, Zach. Well, duh, it's football. Contact sport. You're getting hit every single play. But there's injuries you can manage, and there's other injuries you can't. But to have so many guys on IR last year, that was a heartbreaker. And you can say that was the reason why we lost the playoff game. Sure. But at the same time, Jared Goff, you're turning the ball over numerous times. Four turnovers, I do believe it was, in that divisional playoff game at home as the number 1 seed against a rookie quarterback in Jane Daniels. Like I said, I got to emphasize that because we lost to a rookie quarterback because he just ran all over us, throwing dimes to Terry McLaurin, and no one's going to catch that guy. That guy is a speedster. He's the Flash. Bye-bye. See you later. But injuries, yes. Part of the reason why we lost in the divisional round last year. But when your quarterback's throwing the ball, creating so many turnovers. And then in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, when we're only down by like 10 points, we're still in this game. You have Jameson Williams, throwing the ball right into Mike Sainristil, who is a former Michigan player, one of the best DBs in Michigan history. You throw it right to him. Why are we running that play in that situation? Ben, you called the play. You're the offensive coordinator. Why are we doing that? That game didn't make sense. I was very upset with that game. It is what it is. It's in the past. So now it's time to win. And like I said, that Super Bowl window is slowly shrinking. It's not going to be easy this year. That's the reality. And the Detroit Lions need to do something. They need to make a spark. Like, dude, those road games, like, going to Baltimore, we can never beat Baltimore. Baltimore just kicks our ass. They have our number. Something about Baltimore. Like, they are the plague against the Detroit Lions. We got to find a way to beat Lamar Jackson on the road. When you go to Philadelphia, you got to find a way to beat the defending Super Bowl champions with that defense, with Jalen Hurts, with Saquon Barkley, who's arguably the best running back in the NFL. You got to find a way to stop that guy. Good luck. when we go to Cincinnati, you gotta find a way to stop Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You gotta find a way to stop those guys. When you go to Washington, that should be a revenge game. Go to Washington and dominate them. They embarrassed us on our field in the playoffs. We're gonna embarrass you on your field in the regular season. Not gonna be easy. And then you got the Minnesota Vikings twice. You gotta beat them. You got Green Bay twice. You gotta beat them. Chicago, especially Ben Johnson there being the head coach. You definitely gotta beat them here and in Chicago. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. But, a little concerned, a little bit. Because I just don't know what the team, a lot of guys are coming back from their injuries. I get it. Like I said, Lee McNeil, we're not going to see him till later in the season. But Aiden Hutchinson, he's coming back. He needs some help. Like I said, Trey Hendrickson's still available. He's probably asking a lot. TJ Watt was available, but then, he's back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course. Yeah, imagine TJ Watt and Aiden Hutchinson, your two edge rushers. Imagine that. Yeah, that would have been great, but, it is what it is. But Detroit and Lions need to do something. So, we'll see what happens. And like I said, Lions lost to the Commanders, divisional round playoffs, 45-31. As the number one seed, you had a week off, you still couldn't beat these guys. Jayden Daniels just ran all over you guys. Rookie quarterback, may I remind you. And then also last year, we saw the very cool, very interesting black jerseys. Been wanting them for years, the Detroit Lions fans. We were 2-1. We had a 2-1 record with those jerseys on. So, yeah, we didn't wear them a lot, but when we did, we won games. So, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, the Hall of Fame game between the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Chargers this Thursday night, NBC, The Peacock, 8 p.m. Football's back, baby. I can't wait. So you have that going on. And then we're going to end today's episode today, talk about last week. So if you were born in the 80s, your heart is crushed. Not broken, it's crushed. Because we lost Malcolm Jamal Warner, who was a main character on the Cosby Show, 80s show, right? We lost the godfather of heavy metal, the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace to both of those gentlemen, because Ozzy was such a huge influence. We don't have these heavy metal bands that we have today if it wasn't for Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. And it's crazy enough, they did their last show, Black Sabbath, back to the beginning a few weeks ago, beginning of July. And then a couple weeks later, he's gone. So Ozzy Osbourne's gone. And then a couple days later, they say they die in threes. Very depressing, very sad. Just horrible stuff. But they say they die in threes. So the third one, pro wrestling fans, he's the biggest name in pro wrestling. Pro wrestling doesn't exist today. It's not as popular as it is today. It's not where it's at today without Hulk Hogan. Despite how you feel about him. Obviously, later in life, he did some things, said some things that were not good. People make mistakes. It is what it is. But Hulk Hogan, pro wrestling is not where it's at today if it wasn't for that man. Hulkamania, let me tell you something, brother. That doesn't exist if it wasn't for that man. So, tough week last week, especially if you grew up in the 80s, because those are 80s staples. Cosby Show with Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne with Black Sabbath, which is more late 60s, 70s rock, and then obviously he did his solo career, which was 80s, 90s stuff. But then Hulk Hogan obviously taking over pro wrestling back in the 80s. So if you were born in the 80s or if you were a kid in the 80s, my heart goes out to you. I feel bad for you guys. But yeah, we lost all these amazing people. Rest in peace to all of them. It's been a bad year. We've lost many celebrities, many athletes. George Foreman, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, Phil Robertson from Duck Dynasty. So, yeah, last week was not a good week if you were a child in the 80s. So rest in peace to all those guys. Time to move on. And that's it. That's guys' time this week. I know we kind of ended on a sober note, and you know me, I don't like doing that, but I thought, with me loving Ozzy Osbourne and growing up being a huge pro wrestling fan, years later, I didn't grow up watching Hulk Hogan, obviously, but, I figured, end the episode today on that note. Don't want to. Maybe next time we won't, but it is what it is. So, anyways, thank you for joining me on this edition of Guys Time. You already know the drill. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I will leave you off with this. It's a Monday. It's going to be a beautiful day here. A heat advisory is in effect here in Michigan. So stay safe out there. If you don't have to go outside, don't do it. I mean, I'm going to have to cut the grass. It's going to be brutal, but you got to get it done. But stay safe out there. It's Monday. You guys are amazing. As always, this episode will be available later today. Check it out on my YouTube page at Guys Time with the Bryes. You can listen to this episode too, the audio version, if you want to listen to my beautiful voice on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just type in Guys Time with the Bryes. And then if you want to see my beautiful face with my Amara St. Brown jersey, because the Bryes is right for football, you can check out my YouTube page as well. So thank you guys so much. You're amazing. Have a great rest of the day. Kick some ass this week. And stay safe out there. You guys are amazing. Have a good one.